Hello, and welcome to the Delusional Boyfriend Book Club. My name is Courtney, and I'll be your host. And today I'm joined by Britney. Thank you so much for being here, Britney. You might
Hi.
you might know Britney as the Buff Fujoshi on socials everywhere. She is one of my absolute top favorite creators, reviewing Green Flag, BL Manhwa, manga. I've not seen a ton of anime. Are you also reviewing any anime? Do you get into the anime?
I am into the anime. I wish I had time to watch more, but if I do, I will hopefully do more videos on anime too.
Yeah, awesome. So, before we jump into our book today, which is going to be Coyote, our BL manga of the month, I want to ask you a couple little interview questions just to get to know you. So, how did you originally find BL and how did you get into the content creation for it?
I wish I had a more fun answer. I was literally on TikTok. I was on TikTok and 2023 was the year that I got more into anime. My whole trajectory was like I watched it when I was younger. I got bullied a little bit, so I was like, I guess I'm just not gonna watch it, I guess. And then I got back into it, but like 2023, I was like watching like everything. And then I got to a point where I wanted to start reading manga. And so I guess I don't know, the little people in my phone were listening in and they were like, hey, we heard this, but also scoot your gay self over here. Like, we should just see some of these things. And I saw literally a carousel of TJ from Wet Sand. And I was
Milk
like,
show.
who is this fine man? Oh my God. What are you talking about? And I was like, I think I didn't even like look it up then. I like saved it and then came back. Somebody made another post about TJ and I was like, this is a thing. Something's happening. And so I looked through the comments. Thankfully, these people were really nice and put the name in the comments. And I went over, found it, and I was going through, and I was like, oh, it's a very interesting story. And all of a sudden I see a lightsaber. I was like, what are we I was like, oh, okay, this is very interesting. And literally from there, I got hooked. Sadly, like after season one, I talked about how I kind of just I started reading other things, and I was like, I kind of completely forgot about Wet Sand. But like Wet Sand, and then I think right after was like I was doing like the basics.
Yeah.
I was in like BJ Alex, and then I got to Dangerous Convenience Store, and then we got to Taming the Tiger, and I was like, okay, no, I'm like really into this, and I like full sailed just kept reading it, kept reading it, kept reading it. And then at one point I was like, I should probably talk about this.
It's so hard to like be in on this niche and nobody knows what you're talking about, especially once you get into the manhwa. You're like, I'm reading Korean comics, and everyone just looks at you sideways in your life like, I cannot relate. And then you find this community, and this community is so desperate to talk to each other about it and
Yes.
get more recs and like follow the bunny hole down as far as it goes. And it's so exciting. Like, it truly does feel like a community of girls who get together for tea and gossip, and it's so much fun. I remember the little people in my phone were listening, and it was like targeted legend ads for Jinx, and I was just like, damn, what the hell is this? And I saw a couple like juicy panels, and I was like,
Hmm.
man, his head's kind of shaped weird. Why are people into this? And then the second you start reading, all of those thoughts come out of your mind, and you're like, I am in, I am sold, I'm here for all their weird shaped heads and hands.
Hmm.
And suddenly this is the body type that I'm interested in, is this like pointy ass chin.
Manhwa proportions are so funny. It's like, yeah, when you get into the tops of it all, because BJ Alex is kind of like it's like understandable, but when you get to the Ajusis,
Yes.
when you get to well, even speaking on like 945, when you get into how's it pronounced? Guan. Like when you get into just like these, I'm telling you, crazy. I have not read the last two chapters, and I'm seeing the spoilers, and I'm just like, I should probably read them. I should probably read them.
I don't know how you haven't read it, and I have so many questions. I remember you made a video where you're like, guys, do you think it's going to be red or do you think it's going to be pink? And in my head, I was like, I hope it's stitched on and decaying like the rest of him.
Yeah.
And I seriously still hoping for that. I still was not ready for what I saw.
Yeah. Okay. Now I need to see it because I literally everyone's talking about it. Like I was like, oh my gosh, guys, it's crazy. Because at that point, I think I made a lot of videos and I was like, I need to do a lot of some of these TBRs. And I was just like, not even, I haven't been updated on Nerd Project. I haven't been up, there's so many things. Define the Relationship just officially ended. I was like, I'm so behind.
Define the Relationship ending made me cry. That story made me cry so many times, and like
Really?
nothing like bad happens. I just got so attached. That was probably like my fourth or fifth story that I got into, but it was probably the first one, that and Jinx, that I was reading weekly. And I love to binge a story that's completed, but when you do get hooked on a weekly read, kind of like with Guan and the Hounds of Sisyphus, once you're on that weekly schedule, you start to live for it. And when it's over, it's so it's just so hard.
It's so painful. Especially Hounds of Sisyphus is like everyone's reading it. So you're just like, oh, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
The theories are going so wild, and people get off on such a tangent that everyone wants him to be or thinks he's going to be a red flag. And it's like, girls, you're all just repeating what the last guy heard. I want some original theories. I want to hear what nobody else is saying, because I still don't feel like anyone's really cracked the code on what's going on in that story. And it feels like a little mystery we're all trying to solve together.
I know. Based on like where I have left off, I was like, please have like split personality. Like you can't be, I don't know. Like I'm thinking there's like new, because it's like, oh my God, because he's already like brain memory. I was like, maybe the memory isn't there. Maybe this is his new memory, but then old memory is also popping up. But that's also because I'm reading Swallow You Whole, and he has like three freaking people, maybe even four. I'm like, I don't know. Please be split, because I want a green flag.
Oh, I want to.
I would love
I feel like he is green flag hiding that he is sick and decaying, and it's less so that he's like hiding a secret that he's manipulating the MC, and more so that he's hiding something like physiological that's going on with him, that he's afraid if the MC finds out. He like, I'm sure you've seen the panel with the bloody nose, but like the throwing up, the bloody nose, it's like, okay, are you dying? What's happening? It's so fun to listen to those theories. So as a counselor, so are you studying for a master's? Is that what it is, or for a certification?
I'm getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And
Girl.
this is my last year. Thank you. This is my last year, and it's the intern year. So I've started my part-time internship, which is going to be so fun to see how I am full-time and still doing content. But I'm about to go into my break. So
Hallelujah.
but we're going into the full-time, and yeah, that's the tea on me.
So when you read those psychological stories with the split personalities or the red flag psychosis kind of characters, are you over analyzing as you would as like a counselor?
Sometimes, and that's the thing, which is like why I do green flags, is because I'm listening to so many red flags in my in the office. I was like, I would love to just not have that with me. But things like Coyote, like I'm looking at, okay, childhood trauma, how we're doing this. So I do have a tendency to overanalyze. I overanalyzed Birds of Shangri-La.
Birds of Shangri-La is seriously, so like so far in the manga section, I've been saying that my delusional boyfriend all time from a manga, not mixing the mediums, but from a manga, is Apollo, because he is so like one person down bad. Like I love Apollo. I love his physique. Birds of Shangri-La is top tier. So I couldn't believe that I hadn't read Coyote yet. And I saw you just make a video saying that this is like one of your top authors. Now, do you have a top author or a top story?
I have a top 3, which is what's devastating me right now, because I have to take one off so I can put Zariya in there.
As
Like
if someone's holding a gun to your head, like there can only be 3.
I'm like, oh my God, because everyone loves saying 3. I think I did a live and I was like, I'm changing that rule and I'm saying 5, because I can't decide at this point. But currently my top 3 before Zariya is Mamita, Minta Suzamaru. I always get her last name wrong. And did I say Mamita? Mamita, Minta, and Nayama.
Okay. And do you have a number one story, a number one book of all of them?
Oh my god.
Like if
Of
you
all
had
of
to take it to the desert island, which one are you bringing?
No. Okay. Okay, but the way I fell in love with My Dress Up Lover is like intense. Like I first cross-dressing one, I loved it so much and I was like, do I like cross-dressing men? Like I was just I'm like so conflicted with how that like really got to me. But then you have I didn't mean to fall in love. And oh wait, I think it's My Dress Up Lover because it has everything that I love, which is age gap and an office worker.
Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
I try with manga so hard to find them in the wild and not order them into the store because I say it's like bird watching. Like I'm
Yeah.
waiting for the one. And ever since I saw your review on My Dress Up Lover, I have been stalking the shelves, stalking them. Still nothing, no My Dress Up Lover, and I'm just about to order it in because I don't want to wait any longer. Cross dressing for me, like I love feminine men and I love somebody confident enough in there. My whole For You page is men like styling skirts and breaking
Mhm.
the gender binary. So that is a huge trope for me. And then on top of that, age gap, when done right, is chef's kiss. Like it to see one character baby another character will always get me.
It's so beautiful. And it's just and obviously the best trope of age gap is older bottom, younger top. Like that's the best. You cannot like
Absolutely.
I can't do anything for you. It just makes more sense. But that one I was just like the same thing the way that it does start off iffy. It's like you didn't have to give me like this like random like little ultimatum. But at the same time you know that he's liked him the entire time. But I was just like, oh my, to just like someone in their element. I always say my favorite panel was him like showcasing his like new bow that he made. And he was just like, oh my God, it's so cute. And he's like doing a spin and he's like so excited. I love that. Yeah, I think that's my top from them.
The like unconditional support, I think, is always that when somebody loves somebody for everything they are, regardless of what the rest of the world wants them to be. The videos that have done best of mine on socials always have my husband in them. And I think it's because people really want to imagine that there's somebody out there who would like Fujoshi freakiness and all love you unconditionally, like totally in your element, be there to support you. And that's why I read these stories because I love to see those moments like played out over and over again. I eat them like candy until they rot my teeth. Like I just want that love.
Right. That's literally my first video. I saw that video on TikTok first. And then I was like, icon, love him. And then I saw it on saw it on Instagram and I was like, I swear I've seen this before. And I was like, oh, it's her. And I loved it. Literally, what was it? I think it was I think it's like one of the greenest flags so far, because now I've been like manga down. But one of the greenest flags manhwas that I've read is My Ordinary Relationship. And I loved all of the people in the comments were just like, yeah, it's like a realistic love. I've been with my partner for this long. And then it's just the idea that it's just together. And I'm like eating all of these comments up. And I'm like, yeah, like so like realistic how it was. And I was like, yeah, I love hearing about everyone's relationships while I am painfully single.
But I feel like if you're not willing to settle for less than that, then you might as well have those moments in your life while you read. And being a reader gives you that. Like you can absolutely live vicariously through these perfect men who treat their partner with the utmost respect and treat them like a princess. You can live through that until the right person comes along. And if the other choice is settling for some of these garbage men on the street, then I think we'll choose books every time.
Exactly. I will choose that over. That's literally what happened to me when I started reading like Wattpad. I was like, oh my God, I love these red flags. No, I don't. I don't love them at all.
So now that you just review green flag stories, if you ever get into a red flag story, do you DNF it? Do you ever like crave like a little bit of red flag here or there?
So the guy is I do read red flags.
Oh,
I do read them. Yeah, I still read them. I just don't highlight them. So I
Okay.
think that's one of the things when I was making my page. I was like, I think there was, I'm pretty sure it was Low Tide and Twilight. I made a video about Low Tide and Twilight on my TikTok when I was transitioning my TikTok into BL. And I made a video about it. And then I'm pretty sure I took it down. It was like multiple videos, but it was the idea that there was so much back and forth. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people on TikTok are like under 18. I don't know, either under 18 or there's this idea. I don't want to overanalyze this because I'd be, but this idea that if it's not like a pure story, that it's a bad story. And maybe people don't understand how to discern different things, but I was just like, I know it's red flag. I wouldn't want these things to happen, but at the same time I'm going to realize that it's a really great story.
Yeah.
I didn't want that back and forth anymore. I was like, I've seen my mutuals talk about Jinx. Most of the people hate read Jinx. You have the patience for that. I tried to read Jinx. I left chapter 32. I wanted to leave chapter 4. People were like, please continue. I said no. But people mainly hate read it. But the idea of just talking about it, I've seen people just like call people out of their names for a book about something that's not real. I'm like, I get it. It's bad. So I made the conscious decision. I'm going to mainly talk about green flags. And I was like, it's more niche to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about green flags. Especially it's really fun to talk about that rather than say like, all right, he did this, but I was like, I'll just skip that part. And I hate arguing with people I do not know. I don't need to.
The discourse online, the Fujoshi discourse is so heated. It is so volatile, and I will never understand why. Like everybody, and book talk is the same way. People cannot let
Mhm.
people enjoy what they want to enjoy and talk about what they want to talk about. There's this like very strict moral compass that everyone must abide by, and then on top of that, if a story's not written well or there's plot holes or whatever and you still like it, people are there to point out how shit it was or how it doesn't compare to other stories or how that redemption arc's not as good as this redemption arc. And it's always so heated, and I definitely try to stay out of the negativity and post what I want to post anyways, but it is really hard to be in a conversation. Like we just did Roses and Champagne for last month's
Mhm.
manga of the month. And oh
Mhm.
my God, it's like every 3 out of 10 comments is like, you support rape. And I'm like, what in God's name?
It's intense. It's like I try to think about if I want to continue making, because usually when you do like I do minute long videos,
Mhm.
and you would do kind of like those memeable ones so people can like see your page and do all those things. And it's usually for me, it's kind of like I want to reel in the people who want to read green flags. But the problem is on two of the ones that I've done, people are bringing in, do you know Lamy?
Yeah. I
Yeah, people are bringing in her and they're just like, "Oh, this is so much better than microbangs. You're the green version of microbangs." And I'm like, "Y'all, I'm not saying that people are like terrible. I'm just saying I don't have the patience and I don't have the mental fortitude, but I'll watch other people do it. I
yes.
have that one, but you don't have to do that comparison. You don't have to say one person is bad. You don't have to say one person. There is going to be one manga I will never read in my life because I don't want the smoke is Yarichin Bitch Club. I'm not doing it. You will not see that cross my page. You will not see YBC. You will not see any of that. I've never read it. I thought I wanted to at one point, but I'll have people say like this about this and then that about that. And then they're saying like, yeah, what was so funny? I was in Barnes Noble like last week and this one girl's with her mom and her grandma. And she was like, no, they only have volume 4. And she's like, I'm trying to find it. Her mom goes, what is it called? Yarichin bitch who? And I was dying laughing. I was like, why would you bring your mom?
Your grandma.
But exactly, why'd you bring grandma? And they're just so confused. But that's one of my I won't touch. It is like this weird like purity thing to it. It's like moral. It's like, yo, we're reading. I get it. I think that's why I'm thinking it's mainly like younger people where you are a part of this small like group. It's people don't realize how small Fujo and Fudons are.
Yeah.
We are not this big grand group. We are just a bunch of people and trying to read these books. It's not hundreds of millions and thousands of whatever. And I think we have to kind of look objectively and like, hey, people read this, people don't read this. Now, I haven't read Roses and Champagne because I'm on a strike because they got a publishing deal before Taming the Tiger. So I said I'm on strike until I have the patience. But
Taming the Tiger is so peak. The twist at the end, when I thought the trauma was coming and I had no idea what was coming next, I mean, it really had me by the balls. I love Taming the Tiger. And some of these stories, I wish that I wouldn't have read it until I had the physical book to collect, because it's so, I mean, it's hard to delay that gratification, but to read them as they slowly get printed, it stretches out such a good, oh, sorry, the internet was going. It stretches out such a good story instead of letting you just like shove it, cram it down your throat as fast as you can. But it's definitely hard to see the community rip each other apart, especially the creators, because of all the Fujos and Fudons out there, there's only a tiny percent who are actually making videos and putting themselves out there to create. And to see the people who consume that content cannibalize it and be like, okay, she's better than her, or pitting people against each other. It's like, hey, this takes a shit ton amount of energy and kind of like courage to sit in front of your camera. And if you don't like someone, you can mute them, but you wouldn't have any of this on your algorithm if people didn't have the balls to try. So don't go after the ones that you don't like, and don't do this comparison game, because if you make everyone feel bad about the content that they're making and the stuff that they're reading, there will be no book talk, and you can watch mom talk, and that can be what your algorithm is. You can watch like tips for getting your baby to eat applesauce if that's what you want. If you want people to come on here and make niche content, support the niche content creators, and be happy for them what they're making. If you don't read the same stories as them, that's fine. If you want to chime in on the stories that they're talking about that you like, great. If you want to mute them all together, fine. But the negativity, like it does seem to come from this younger generation who feels like they're being progressive somehow by pushing this moral agenda. And I'm like, that is not being progressive. Banning books, censoring books, all of that is a pipeline to like alt-right conservatism, and saying that women can't read gay stories because you think you're protecting the gay community, while all you're doing is limiting the content that is, making it so those topics are less taboo. Like you're not doing the work you think you're doing. And I hope that they come to realize that as they grow up, that having this like extreme strict moral value system that everyone's supposed to abide by is actually not progressive at all, and it doesn't protect the people that they're hoping to protect. And like, God forbid if those of us who are surrounded by straight men all day are sick and tired of them, like let us surround ourselves with whatever fictional characters we want to, like monsters with sewn on necks and arms, or half werewolves, or total green flag cross-dressers. Like, let us have these people, these characters in our lives. Let us enjoy them. There's so few things in this life to enjoy, and if something sparks some natural dopamine in your brain, fucking run with it. Like, have permission to enjoy that thing.
More omegas.
Yes, more omegas.
More male omegas.
So with all of that being said, let's jump into our review for today, which is not an omega verse, but because it's a supernatural fic, it kind of has some elements, which makes it like maybe my favorite, I don't know, type of genre. So we're talking about Coyote today, which is by Ranmaru Zariya. How do you say it? You pronounce it really good.
I say hold on, I'm looking at the book. Ranmaru Zariya. I think it's Zariya. I don't know. I know a Zariya in my life who spells it like that, so I say Zariya.
Perfect. And this was originally published in 2016, I think. And we have,
really?
Yeah. I think that was the Japanese publication, and then the American one wasn't until 2018. But still, it's like an older, more classic story. And we have 4 volumes. And usually we do just discuss the first volume in a series to decide if we're going to collect the rest. But we could not. Neither of us could put this series down. So we're going to go through all 4 today, and I will lead us through the kind of overview and the tropes. And if you guys haven't read all 4 and you don't want spoilers after this point, you'll want to catch up and rejoin us. So we have the tropes going on here: supernatural slash werewolf, which is really exciting. There's some like elements of werewolf heat in here, which reminds me of the Omegaverse. So if you're into that, those kinds of tropes, there's a little hint of that in here for you as well. We've definitely got star-crossed lovers, and I've heard you refer to them as like Romeo and Juliet, and we're definitely getting those vibes. We've also got a little bit of like, I want to say there's a little bit of fated mates tropes going on in here, and I think hopefully in volume 5 we'll get more of that. I'm really upset because this last volume was published in 2022 and there's still no volume 5, which, like, did she die? Where's the author at?
I will say, someone told me in the comments that she does have health issues, so it does prolong her from doing a lot of things. But I was just like, so what are you thinking? Like 1 year, 2 years? It's like, check Sublime and nothing is coming out this year. And I'm like, so we have to wait for next year. They said volume 5 is good, but I'm like, it's not coming this year. So I'm kind of devastated.
I'm a little devastated. And her other series, Birds of Shangri-La, we've got volume 3, which just printed last year, but I'm like absolutely dying for the next volume. So really, really hoping that we see more out of this author, praying for all the mangakas and the manhwa artists. Like, they are just hunched over at those desks all day and their health is never doing well. They're like the AO3 authors. They've got a curse.
I'm waiting so bad.
So then other than that, we've got, like hybrid, werewolf, and also mafia. So if you like the mafia story, there's touches of that throughout here. Do you have any other tropes that I didn't mention that you can think of? We don't really have any age gap. They're both about 27, 28.
I don't think I'm trying to think of like, is there there's like small violence. There's not like actual violence, but what? Small? I don't know. I grew up on like crazy action, so I would say that that's small.
And there's definitely, I would say, like, as far as like kink tropes go, there's like a little bit of rough sex in there because there's like some claw action going on.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of the first volume.
Oh,
I was thinking right during the first heat. I was like,
oh. This is like pretty much a green flag story with like one little incident.
But I was like, interesting. But I was vibing with it though.
I know, that was one of my favorite scenes, and I'm like, okay, there's enough like overall consent in this story, I think, to wave the green flags all around. So the basic plot of this, and then I'll let Brittany take us through the full spoiler-filled section, but kind of a spoiler-free section, is that we have a hybrid werewolf, a guy who's half human, half wolf, half werewolf, and we've got a descendant of a werewolf-hunting clan, and that werewolf-hunting clan is the mafia in this city. And I mean, are we in Paris? There's mention of the Moulin Rouge.
I'm very confused because I thought we were in Germany. I don't know where we are.
It kind of feels like Germany, kind of feels like London. So we're in a city, and it's some European city. We're in modern day, which is interesting to me because one of the main love interests, his fashion is a little bit old fashioned, and so is the mafiosos. But then our main character, the hybrid wolf, wears like a zip up, hoodie, and they have a cell phone. So we know, and then there's a timeline that comes on later about when his parents died. So we know that it's modern day. So we've got that descendant of the werewolf hunting clan. He is not affiliated with them anymore. He plays piano in bars, and that's where he runs into the MC. And that is where our story kind of takes off. So after this point, if you like all those tropes and this sounds like a story that's for you, I really suggest you pick this up. It's available digitally. It's also printed by Sublime if you want to add it to the permanent collection. Brittany, I know you're already ordering all the other 3 that you don't have.
This is the one where I was like, I have to order it. My Barnes & Noble does not carry anything. I like scooped up volume 4 by accident. I was like, y'all don't do anything. So it's in the cart. It's in the cart.
This like might get its own little shelf for me. Like it's going to be proudly displayed. I cannot even believe how much I love this story and how long it took me to read it, when so many people, like I would have one in a book haul and be like, I got volume 2, just going to collect them all before I read them. And then I picked it for book club and so many people were like, Coyote's it. You do not push this off any longer. So with all of that being said, Brittany, do you want to take us through the breakdown, the smutty scenes, the drama, and give us all of the spoiler-filled goodness?
Got you. So I can already say, like, volume 1, you get the idea of just like, okay, we have Marlene. I like the idea of just calling them by their song names. I think that's the cutest thing ever. Even if they knew their real names, they still call each other by their little song names, and that's really so cute.
The pet names, that like seeing somebody who you're not ready to give your number to and you give them a fake name. Oh my God. My husband, the first day I met him, it was literally love at first sight, but I had been working at Hooters, and at Hooters you wear a name tag with somebody else's name on it. Like it's a fake name so people don't know your real name.
Oh.
Anyways, and mine said Zara. And when I went up to, it was literally a Hooters bikini contest that day. I am fully dressed, like full beat on, hair curled. I have like rolled up socks in my bra so that they're pushed up to my neck. I look so hot. And I walk into this party. I was kind of hanging out with a guy, and I see my husband, and I walk over to him. The first day I've ever seen him in my life. And I was like, is your name Wolf? Are you? That's so funny that this is about a wolf. His name's Wolfgang. Like everyone was talking about a guy named Wolf who was visiting from DC. Is that you? And he was like, yeah, what's your name? And I was like, my name's Zara. And I give him this fake name, and he was like, really? And I was like, no, that's not my name. My name's Courtney. I'm too flustered. But I love a moment like that where you're not quite ready to give somebody your deets, but you want to strike up the conversation. So these two meet at the bar and immediately have these pet names, which are derived from the main love interest playing a song.
I know. It's so cute. Sometimes I think my future partner knows me as Brianna. That's my fake name when I go out. Brianna Johnson. It's not my last name at all.
You call me Brie until I know you better.
Exactly. It's so easy to say Brianna because some people are just like automatically think my name is Brianna. So I'm just like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Brianna Johnson.
We'll go with that till I trust you.
Exactly. Until you get Brittany, which is not far from Brianna. I don't know why. It used to be Bianca, but then someone was like, why would you name? I was like, I don't know. I feel like Bianca's a great name. But yeah, so we have these two people. Lovely. Marlene's like love at first. I feel like both of them were just instantly love at first sight, but Marlene is very just like verbal about all this stuff. Very verbal. And so he sees his man's running out. He looks like he's in distress. No, he's in heat. His fangs are out, his claws are out, and he's like, I'm in heat. And you're kind of like not knowing yet, but he's like, I know he's a werewolf. Automatically knows he's a werewolf. Lily is like, I don't know how he knew I was a werewolf that instant, but he's a werewolf.
Because their only interactions have been when Lily is posted up on the wall at the bar while Marlene is playing the piano. And Marlene, his real name is Josh, which what the fuck is that name? Josh? Never met a hot Josh I liked in my life. But anyways, we've got Josh playing the piano, Marlene playing the piano, and his boy Lily posted up on the wall. And it seems like their interactions have been super sparse, basically just Lily admiring Marlene while he plays the piano. So this moment when he sees him rush out and he runs after him and he sees that he's in heat and he's got fangs and claws, it's like it feels like their first real interaction.
Right. To the point about what is the name Josh, my friend recently got her into BL. Her first one that she officially finished was Smyrna and Capri. She was so mad. She was so mad that his given name was Seth. She was like, what the hell is Seth? She was like, why is it Seth? I'm so mad. His name was fine. I think it was like Serum or Seraphim or something like that. He was like, why are we calling him Seth? And I was like, you're into this. I want you to calm down.
Well, and this one, I'm like, is his name Josh in Japanese? Like, is his name just straight up Josh? Or did some English translator who's never met a hot man in their life been like, we're going to call him Josh. We're going to call him Josh like wine.
I think he's purposely Josh.
Oh my God.
He's purposely Josh. But in this heat moment, he realized he can't really do anything. He doesn't want Marlene to do anything, but he's like, you know what? I have the hookup at a brothel. We're going to get you somebody to figure this out. So he ends up having sex with a, I don't want to, the term that they used in there was a hermaphrodite, but it's a trans woman, but had sex with a trans woman. But in the middle of it, he's like, yeah, no, this is too hot. I have to enter in there as well. And he's like, so sorry. They're going. So now it's just a beautiful threesome. And I'm just like, this is great. Oh my gosh. But then after that, he's just like, okay, I'm hooked on you. I'm like, we need to be together forever. And I love whenever a top pines over a person. I'm like, oh, this is what I need in my life. Just keep going after this. I love that. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. My thing just skips over until whenever they find each other, like whenever they like really get into the thick of it of, oh, we are like these two star-crossed people. So my recollection of volume 1 is kind of fuzzy. What else happens?
Well, they go from that brothel, and so he had been kind of rejecting Marlene, and he's like, okay, like, I'll sleep with this woman. And as they're in that act, Marlene is like, I'm going to join in. And Lily doesn't really refuse. And then they go back to Marlene's place, and Marlene lives in this, what, I don't know, it's like a condo, but it's very nice. And he is like, I know that werewolves are in heat for a week, so I will keep you company for a week. What are you gonna do, go home and have nobody? Let me take care of you, baby. Like, so he for a week pounds this man out. And we do get, when he's sleeping with that woman at the brothel, we do see that he has like a knot, and this story is censored.
Oh yeah.
It is a censored story, but they show so much so creatively that you almost don't realize it's censored. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of scenes where they'll be like underwear over it, and you get like the shape and all its glory. But he takes him home, and he's like, I know you were sleeping with her, but I think it'll be better for you if I fuck you, if you're the bottom. And so he does. He fucks him for a full week, and then after that week goes by, Lily just kind of disappears and doesn't commit any further to this relationship. And then in the background of the story, we have all of these werewolves being hunted, and one of them has been captured by the news in a picture, and everyone's really worried, like, what's going to happen if people stop believing that we're just a myth and realize that we're actually here in the city, especially if those people think our blood and our flesh is magical, and they start wanting to kill us to trade for our body parts, which is super fucking dark.
It's crazy. It's kind of like almost how they did with like Egyptian mummies. They're like, oh my god, you can like eat this their dust, and and you can get all these magical powers. It's like, no. I think also during this time you start getting the idea of like there's this long-standing feud that's like almost, I think it's like 50 years ago.
There's 70 years ago, there was a like full genocide, like a full war between these two factions.
And then towards volume 4 is where you start learning more about the lore of that.
Yep.
And like during this time, we're starting to get an idea that, okay, there is this clan, there's that. Also during this time, you realize that Josh is like, Josh, you start realizing that Marlene, you start realizing that Marlene is part of the family. And then his whole purpose at this whole club situation was that he was supposed to be staking out the entire place. And then he's like, oh no, I'm in love with this werewolf, but I'm also a part of this family. I don't know if it was volume 1 or volume 2, where I think it was volume 2, where Coyote gets his assignment, like, okay, there's too many things happening. We are going to kill the entire Gallant family.
Yep.
And here's your assignment. You're supposed to kill the son, the heir, but we only have the picture of the child. Now you
Yep.
have to figure out who this is. And so I think there was another time where, seven days, 7 days of fucking. And after
Every
that
full
time,
moon, and which is great for us
yeah.
because like usually heats are kind of unpredictable, and we're like, oh, we just got to wait 4 weeks, and we're gonna have a whole nother week of this going on, which is great for the reader, but definitely they're going through those kind of cycles, and at the same time there's this conspiracy starting to form that the werewolf clan is going to take out the whole mafioso clan. And is Josh Marlene, he is wanting to come clean to Coyote that he's from this werewolf hunting family and that he separated himself from it, but he doesn't know how to say that. And Lily, aka Coyote, the main character, he's kind of suspicious of like, how do you know about werewolves? How do you know about our heat? How do you know so much about us? But he hasn't connected the dots yet that this is the person he is contracted to murder when their coup takes place and they go to take out the full clan, because they know that this werewolf hunting that's happening in the city is being orchestrated by the Galland family, which is that mafia family that takes out the werewolves and has been doing this for years. And that's kind of in those volume 2 and 3, we start to learn that Coyote is a half human, half werewolf, and that his parents were also died when he was really young. It sounds like his dad was murdered by werewolf hunters and his mom was a human who died of lung cancer. And like on her dying breath, she delivers this baby hybrid to a clan nearby, and she dies, and this 2-year-old can't talk. He doesn't know he doesn't know what his name is. He doesn't know anything about his life, and he can't communicate that with them. So they adopt him, they take him on, and he gets the name Coyote because he is half human, half werewolf, and it's kind of like a derogatory term used to describe how he's smaller than everybody and he's like half blood, which is super sad. And then at the same time, we get Josh's backstory that his family was involved with the werewolf feud, and his mom and his dad were brutally murdered, I think in front of him when he was a child. And then he is taken to a boarding school, I believe, and he gets involved in exacting revenge on that
Right.
werewolf who killed his parents. So it's not like his hands are clean, even though he's separated himself from the feud. He has taken part in the feud and taken lives in order to try to like even the scales. So both characters are actively participating in this feud, and by the time they realize that they're on opposite ends of it, they're already in love with each other.
And that's what made me mad. I think I talked about it in my story where I was like, please don't have this stupid miscommunication. I swear to you, if you don't tell this man right now. And it just like sucked because he found out in a horrible way when he was just on the phone, like, yeah, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to look at the werewolves. Then you see Coyote just like, huh? What are you talking about?
You're
You're a
spying on
Gallon?
them. Like,
What? What are you talking about? And that, oh my God, I love the way that Zariya just like draws shock. Like the shock and the innocence in the shock was amazing. And I never thought that I would, because when I first read Zariya, I had Birds of Shangri-La 1. And that was the only thing that I had. And I read it, but I was like, this is an interesting art style that I don't know if I like yet. But then as I continued, I was like, oh no, I love this. I love this a lot.
the art style is absolutely beautiful, but it is super different. And I will say, like, I like these ones because you get the full color illustrations
Mhm.
in the beginning, and it helps you get like the coloring a little bit more. But still, you can see like it's totally different art style than everybody else's. It is, I don't know, sharper, more angular. There's something going on that is a lot different. And it took me a while with Birds of Shangri-La to like it. And then once I liked it, it was my favorite. Like it
Mhm.
immediately surpassed everybody else. But the way that they draw eyes, you're absolutely right. Her ability to convey that betrayal and that shock in those panels, it's like it's crushing. And it's one of the reasons I think people love, especially people who don't have a ton of time to be reading like full length novels all of the time, when you get these stories that you can consume rather quickly, but a panel like that conveys pages and pages worth of inner monologue about feeling betrayed, like one picture of eyes gets that whole
Mm-hmm.
point. Like a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think that manga really does hit that nail on the head. Like that, the expressions in Coyote's face when he feels like he's been lied to and that, you know, he's being manipulated, those expressions are some of the most beautifully drawn in the book. And then we do see, so he thinks he's being betrayed by this man, and because he is so kind of furious about that, he makes himself scarce, and Josh goes to literally walks into the wolf's den and goes to the
Yes.
werewolves and is like, take me hostage. I don't care
Okay.
I do not care how much danger I'm in. I don't care if I make it out alive. I am going to see my man, and I don't care if I have to see him behind bars, but I'm going to see him. So bring me in there. They bring him right into the thick of it, and he gets to see his man again and explain himself that, yeah, he was like spying on the werewolves, but he was never really conveying any information. He was the worst spy the clan could have chosen because he's not digging anything on anyone. He's not trying to help. He's trying to distance himself. And basically, because they're the mafia, he has no way to get out from under them other than to abide by a contract that he made, which was if he spied for 3 years, he could get away from them permanently. So once he conveys that to Coyote, and he does see Coyote in his like full wolf form, which is
I love that.
crazy. I usually don't like hybrid stories, but I like that. I like that you could see him in his animal form, but he only ever interacts with his love interest like in a full human form. But we do see him like as a wolf being completely kind of predatory to this love interest, which I like the power dynamic that the top is, you know, he is more persistent. He is more confident in himself, but Coyote is stronger, and Coyote has the upper hand physically. Even if like in sex he's the bottom in life, he could rip this man to shreds if he wanted to. So when he's in that wolf form and he is just kind of waiting to hear this guy out to see if he trusts him enough to go back in his human form and give him another chance, I thought that power dynamic was really clear, that these two are on an even playing field. Like Coyote is not at the beck and call of this human man. He actually is probably the one with a bit of the upper hand.
Right. I think also to that point, why I really love that as well was like there was something in the idea that Coyote is in this like raw form, and he's like being very present and like, okay, I'm going to hear you, and he like lays down, and it's just like, just tell me, like as what I am right now, tell me what it is. And it's also kind of like, are you scared and not going to tell me, or are you scared going to tell me but still accept me? That was so good. Even in the way that she drew that, I was like, you can tell that him as a wolf was just very present and just like still calm, like still hesitant too. It's just like, I'm sitting and I'm just gonna listen to you.
And I do love that moment. Marlene is like, I can see you're in this form because you have nothing left to say to me. You want to hear what I have to say. And I like this dynamic of all of your assumptions about a culture or about a subculture or about a type of person. Like all of your assumptions about the werewolves are wrong. They're not extremely violent. They are not overcome by animalistic instincts. They are actually more civil and more kind and more community oriented than these people in the city who are beating each other to death. Like the werewolves actually are part of a society that is really sophisticated, and all of the lore and all of the rumors and the stereotypes about them is wrong. And we have a character who is willing to ignore everything he's ever heard from his family and all of the inherent bias he might have from living in the world, and accept these people for who they are at face value and learn about them and go with that, and even try to join their culture and their clan. And I thought that was all really, really beautiful.
It's so cute. The idea that I forgot their names. I know one of them was Mimi. Oh, Mimi and Nolan. Whenever they were like, they literally told them, "Don't talk to him," like, because I think they recognize that he is different
Mhm.
and he is going to distract you from the idea that we need to kill them. We
Yeah.
need to kill them all. And whenever they did end up talking to him, they were like, "Oh no, this guy's really great. This is what humans could be like if they just kind of accepted us." And we almost kind of don't want to do it. And then I think it's towards volume 4 where he's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this either, because I don't have skin in the game like some people have skin in the game. Like they've, like my mother was killed but I don't remember her. All these other people have had their entire families killed and they were present during them. And so I have this different view of it. I don't have a strong view, but at the same time, I do have a strong relationship to my clan and I do what I need to do for them. And it's just like this big mind fuck of like, what do we do? Like, what is the morally good answer? But at the same time, is it going to get us anywhere if we are morally correct?
It's like the age old question, like of how do we stop war? Like it's hard to hate up close. And when you keep a distance between you and somebody else, you can manufacture in your mind what you want to keep that hate alive. But the second you let that person in and you have to interact with them, you realize they're just another person. And like to love each other is such a greater feat for humanity than to kill each other. And if we can see this half werewolf, half human whose parents overcame that struggle and loved each other, if we can see him fall in love with a human, then maybe love has a chance of winning over fear and over hatred. And Mimi even says that. She says, I see that they have a love for each other that I want to have for humans. I want to trust humans and I want to love them, because hating them and killing them isn't getting us anywhere. And all it does is perpetuate this eternal sadness and strife. And how do we move on from that? And I think it's incredible that a story and a genre that people love to hate on and love to say that we're just reading smut. And I would really ask anybody to read this series and say that there's not like a bigger picture being painted and a more important story going on here, one that has like a lot of value, that if you read it, if you think about it, it can change your perspective. And I think that's what fiction is meant to do. And regardless of the fact that it also has a lot of hot men in it, it does strike a true chord about how we're supposed to treat each other and how we're supposed to interact with each other and overcome our differences for the sake of the greater good.
I'm telling you, like that's why Coyote and Birds of Shangri-La have been like, I've been going back and forth like which one is my favorite Zariya, because both of them, it's like I can't really compare them because you have this star-crossed lovers, but then for Birds you have just this idea of like, I don't even know how to describe birds. Like I couldn't even do it in my video. I was like, I wanted like, I can do just a whole thing on Birds of Shangri-La because it's hard to describe the two, but both of them, like she's so good at conveying some type of message in it while also creating these beautiful characters, also creating a beautiful setting. The settings were so good. Even like the wolf's den was good. I was like, what? The Gallon mansion was crazy as well. Like the settings that she is able to just like create out of nothing is beautiful. The cellar where they met up, first of all, that was so cute. It was to the point of like you saying like Coyote knows that he's stronger. He literally was like, I can bend these bars right now and we could just be out. But they just know that it's not going to solve anything. And I think they have an understanding that they have the power to do something that will change their lives, but they also know that it's going to change the trajectory of their families' lives.
Yep.
And I think Josh is kind of just like, well, I don't have an attachment to that, but I understand that Coyote has an attachment to that. And now it's just the idea, which I'm waiting for this damn volume 5. Like, what will Coyote? I think it all lies in Coyote's hands.
It does. And they both have the trauma, the same thing with Birds of Shangri-La. They both have done things in their past that they're ashamed of. And just running away with each other and living happily ever after won't really reconcile their sins of their past. And so if they do just go live their happily ever after and like say fuck you to the rest of the war and do nothing to solve that, that doesn't wash the blood off of their hands. And so they have to take it onto themselves to be a part of the solution in order to have their happy ending in the end. And they fucking better get their happy ending.
I swear, if I'm reading this and nothing happy happens, I'm just gonna go into a corner and be like, why did I wait this long?
Burn the house to the ground. Books all in it. I don't care. I need these two to have a happy ending.
I want them to run away. I think that's the best option for them, is to run away from, I don't know where to get, Germany to Paris, Paris to Germany. Go somewhere. Go to a different country. Just be away in hiding and then love each other. I don't know, get a burner phone, call the family back if they need to hear from you. But I think that's honestly the only thing, because at the end of the day, like, you can kill the entire gallon, but there's going to be something, just how kind of like conflict is like inevitable. There's going to be something. They're going to recognize that it's werewolves. They're like, one of the guys towards the end, I forgot what his name is, but the one who like infiltrated the political system, he kind of understands, like, they're going to know. There's a group that already knows about werewolves. They can just say something, and then now the whole idea, the massacre could start, and it's just a whole back and forth. And I feel like when it comes to these times, the best thing to do is be selfish and kind of just like have something for yourself.
How great would it be if they ran away to the island and birds of Shangri-La and
I'm weak.
Josh just started being a bird and Coyote was his fluffer, and they just have to throw it back for a little change, and everything else, all their other problems are thrown aside.
That is so funny.
I think that would definitely be a solution to our problems. But I think knowing the two of them, they're going to stick it out and try to, on their separate sides of the war, bring people together. And I think that's going to take more than another volume. I think we're looking at several more volumes. I really wish, do you have any predictions for the next volumes? Like anything crazy going to happen?
I feel like they're going to, I think they're going to go ahead with it, because at the end they were literally like, okay, I think it was like 5 days. Was that it? Like 5 days are going to go into doing the plan. And I was like, yeah, I think the plan's going to happen and they're going to be caught in the crossfires. In my head, I want like a Lion King situation to happen where they're both in the middle and they're like, stop, please. But like, I know that's kind of dumb. But I think they're going to either, I would say that they're either going to say, you know what, I'm not going to have my hand in it, and then leave together, or they're just going to leave together, period.
Do you think if the grandpa gets killed, that Josh, do you think he'll be able to forgive Coyote and his people if they kill his grandpa?
Yeah, I feel like no one likes that man.
He doesn't like his grandpa. He's like, I'll kill him.
I don't like the grandpa. I don't like that man that licked his shoe all disgustingly. I don't like it. I don't know. It's fine. The grandpa can just go. He needs to go anyway. He's crazy.
I feel like this is my like delusional hope for the predictions I have for this are that, first of all, they're fated mates, because we have Coyote's parents who were one human, one werewolf, and we know that there's like mates in this world. The werewolves have mates, and Josh has even said, I think I'm his mate because he's half human. I think he needs somebody who's human in order to fill that. So I'm hoping that there'll be like a mating bite and some kind of like real moment to tie them together as mates. I also, you can tell me I'm fucking crazy for saying this, but he's in heat. He's raw dogging this dude down. There's one scene with a condom, but I want I want a baby.
I think because I'm like, he has a knot, but so I don't know if he can.
But we don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure because the whole thing with omegas is that they get wet, and so they don't look like they've used lube. So I'm not sure. Do you have both? I would love both.
I would love both. And because it's not like an Omega verse, there's really no rules. Like it's, kind of in its own world. And I would love a little litter of baby coyotes. So that's one hope, one prediction that I have for the future. I do predict that they'll solve the war and get to live there happily ever after. Just because if there's any other end to this, I'll never be able to read this author again. So those are kind of my predictions. I am ready to hear your answer for my favorite part of the show, which is your delusional boyfriend. Who is your delusional boyfriend from this series?
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Kiefer.
No way.
I'm in love with Kiefer.
You like the werewolf leader?
I'm in love with Kiefer, and I will tell you why.
Yes, you will.
Huge. I don't know. It's just the idea that he's humongous. He's very stoic, and he commands everything. Do I like what he wants Coyote to do? No. But he's fine. So I don't know anything else to say from that. It was either him or Alan, his friend.
I love Alan. I love Alan. He's like such a nervous wreck, but he's so ride or die. Like I might cry while I do it, but I will be courageous and do the fucking thing. But I love that Kiefer is your delusional boyfriend so much. He is such a daddy. First of all, his wife and his child are murdered brutally. So he is like that traumatic, stoic personality. And then he takes care of Coyote and raises him as his own. So he's like a total daddy. Like that man has a 401k and a trust fund set up for you, and you do not need to worry. He's got it all taken care of and figured out. I was kind of torn. I didn't even consider any side characters in this story because the two mains I loved so much. But one reason I picked Marlene over Lily or Josh over Coyote is because of Coyote's damn claws. I love his little acrylic fingernails, but when you see his toenails grow and it gives you that close up on his long ass feral toenails, I wanted to eat myself off a bridge. Like there's nothing. If you've ever like slept in a bed with a man and he's accidentally scratched you with his toenails and you just like ended yourself right there, like grabbed the bottle of pills and said, that's enough for me, because a man's toenails. I usually kind of hate men's feet. And then I started reading manga and manhwa and I was like, why are they always doing these close-ups on these feet? And it started to not bother me so much. But I'll tell you what, in Coyote, when his fangs and his nails grow when he's aroused, and that includes his toenails, and I just could never.
That is so funny. I didn't even recognize it, and I think it's because I automatically tried to zone out feet. Unless it's like, I don't know, I cannot for some reason remember where his toenails are like coming out.
Found one. I'm literally going to show you this right now because it is so extreme.
Oh my God, those are acrylic. I remember now. That is funny. I think because it's that high up, because I hate when they do that. What manhwa was it? Ghost Nocturne. Jason's toes pissed me off.
His claw toes are so upsetting.
I was like, why are you guys showing me this? I don't need to see it. I was like, these are the sharpest toe beans I've ever seen in my life. They don't need to be like that.
If men had to wear socks as a law 24/7, I'd be happy. If we could force all men to wear a sock at all times, no flip-flops in the summer, nothing, I would be happy. And for a manga or manhwa artist to be like, not only am I going to draw the foot, which is fine. I'm now on board with the feet, but to draw a sharp ass, long ass toenail
press on acrylics on this man's toes,
literal stiletto shape acrylic toenail is crazy work. That is crazy.
Are you a wolf or are you a lizard? Like, this doesn't make sense that you have these. I just don't like feet, period. There was like, who was it? Guwon's feet. They were huge, big in the. I was like, I don't need to see that. I don't need to. Me and feet. I think that's why I just blocked it out whenever I saw it.
Shove that thing in a Doc Martin and keep it off the page. Go on.
Put them shoes back on.
Nobody.
Put them on. I thought in Korea you supposed to take your shoes off, not your socks.
Yeah.
Why are they off?
Wear those little cute house slippers I always see. Go put your little house slippers on.
Do that. Especially with those toes.
So my delusional boyfriend was 1,000% Marlene/Josh, which the only hang up I have with him is his name being Josh, which is, it's not his fault, but I would say he hits every single box for me. He is so desperate. He is so unaware of his own safety. He has no self-preservation when it comes to getting his man. He will throw himself into the flames and the fires if it means getting to him. All he cares about is Coyote, and he is so quick to say, I love you. He is so quick to say, you're the only one for me. He's so quick to say, I don't care that you're a man. There is no woman or man out there that I have eyes for. I am just here for you. The second I saw you, everybody else faded into the background. He is fucking beautiful. I usually hate blondes, and lately the blondes have been showing out in force. Like, the funny thing is the colored in version almost isn't as pretty for me as the black and white, but the black and white,
yes.
When Coyote in one of the scenes takes his hair tie out, because he was wearing it in this like George Washington low ponytail all the time, which is not my thing. But Coyote, apparently it's not Coyote's thing either, because they're about to get down and Coyote whips his hair out of the ponytail and this like gorgeous blonde hair. He's like a Disney prince. He is so beautiful. He's got blue eyes, which my husband is half Peruvian, so he's got brown hair, he's got tan skin, he's got brown eyes, but this like blonde haired, blue eyed little Prince Charming, fucking, he did it for me. And his like 3-piece suits, and at one point he knows that Lily's watching him from a rooftop, and Lily like confirms it. He's like, oh, I was on the rooftop watching you. And he's like, then I should start dressing smarter. And he is like, he's just, everything he does is for his man. He doesn't want fame or fortune or money or the family business. The only thing he wants is to be by Coyote's side when he's in heat and put a baby in him. So absolutely my delusional boyfriend. Would you date Kiefer IRL?
Yes.
Even if he's like 55, 50?
Oh, wait, no.
Like if he appeared in your town today, taking you out for dinner.
Yeah. In reality, no, he is older, but the thing that I really like is that he doesn't seem like he's very clingy, which is hilarious. It's so hard to find. I'm not a clingy person. I love the clinginess in BL, but I'm not a clingy person. But if he doesn't seem like he's clingy, he's very caring, and he's like there. He seems like a very acts of service type of person. I love that. If you age that down, I would 100%. But him right now, nah. Sorry. I
feel like I say that as someone who met my husband when I was 18 and he was 19, 20, like, but I'm like, oh, I could date a 50-year-old. In my head I could. So I feel like he is a good IRL boyfriend. He would set you up. You would die. He would make you a widow eventually because the age gap's huge, but he would leave you a little trust fund.
He would give me the wolf den. I don't know. The
pack. You'd inherit the pack. You would have everybody protecting you. Like, yeah, I agree. He's like kind of an on the fence IRL boyfriend, but I would, Marlene, Josh, like, my family is all musicians. And so like to have a pianist boyfriend who is that gorgeous, who just plays me love songs and looks for when I smile and then keeps playing those songs because he knows they make me smile. Yes, I would. If he showed up here today, my husband would have to fight him. He would have to. And he would also have to learn how to play the piano because, to be quite frank, it's like
that's the blueprint.
Yep.
Do it.
Non-negotiables here. So and he's rich. And I mean, there's nothing Marlene isn't doing. And I think he might like the ladies as well. Like he obviously is here for Coyote, but I might even have half a chance with him. So I would definitely date him IRL. Who did I ask? Okay, who is your, before reading this, who is your number one delusional boyfriend?
I always, my go-to answer used to be Boom from Taming the Tiger. Because he literally would just do anything, cherish the ground you walk on. But I recently reread full volume, and I am obsessed with. I'm obsessed with Duan. I'm obsessed with him.
I've never
Fuck.
read full volume.
You haven't?
It's on my list. I think I might make it a book club. Like some of the big ones that I haven't read, Painter of the Night, full volume, Wet Sand, Pearl Boy. I now am kind of determined not to read them and to put them on next year's book club calendar so that I have to wait and like do it for a monthly read. So it's like on the top of the top list, but it's, if it's your number one, maybe I shouldn't wait.
It's good. I think because one of the things about full volume is that it's very kinky. I think someone had asked me, which was one of the reasons why I went back to rewatch it or to reread it. Someone was like, what is the, like, I think they said like wildest or like, what is the smuttiest one that you've ever read? And I always say full volume because it's like a sex worker. It's a camboy and his like faithful viewer love story.
Like a, dare I say, is kind of like a BJ Alex setup.
Kind of, but it starts off green flag.
Okay.
It is all green flag, and you wouldn't expect it to be because it's just like, why would it be? But it's like full on, and Duan is a person who will like do everything for you. Like he's the number one person to give coins. He's the number one person whenever he finds out anything was happening to him. He's like, no, trust me. It's amazing. And you do get a second couple, which is his brother.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is finished. It's completely done, and I love. But I think it would be him. He's my delusional boyfriend because money, money would spend it on me, but also would do everything. Like was calling him his husband whenever they weren't even together, type of situation. I love Duan. He's
So how does Kiefer measure up to Duan?
I would say, okay, Kiefer, I like the fact that he's not clingy. Duan is very clingy. But and there it is kind of an age gap, but Duan is like 36. So that's a bit better. He has a nice apartment. He's very cultured. Duan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Coyote has not dethroned your number one yet. Kiefer is a lucky man to be on your list, but he's not at the top of the list.
Sadly. You need to watch full volume.
Is full volume a manhwa though?
Yes.
So what about for manga? As far as manga goes?
Oh.
Because I'm like, sometimes I hate to compare because they're just so, it's funny because they're so similar, but they're so different. Like the manga characters, the manhwa plots, the art is so different from the manga. Like if you had to choose manga boyfriend, how does this compare?
Oh, let me look at my thing real quick.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh no.
How does it compare to My Dress Up?
Oh, My Dress Up is so good. Actually, I would say like my manga boyfriend would be, have you read Asking You Will Receive yet?
Oh my gosh, I started Asking You Will Receive the other day because it's office romance and he meets his boss outside of the office and he doesn't recognize him. I read through, why did I have to put it down? I think I had to put it down to start reading one of these series for book club. I think it was because I had to watch Stranger by the Shore, so I didn't finish it. But I just started it, and that's the same author as My Dear Patrolman, right? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So is your number one boyfriend from Asking You Will and You Will Receive?
Yeah, it's Ninin. Yeah, I love Ninin. Ninin is amazing. He's so fine. I would go with Ninin. I would go with Ninin.
Is he the
Shinobu.
brunette?
Yeah.
The brunette character from it, the top?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. And Kiefer doesn't dethrone him.
No, I think Nin is like really, I love saying his name is, I think his name is Shinobu. Shinobu is like everything that I love. The fact that he also is like not a very overly emotional person. He is like an action person. And then also, he's not real clingy. I love it. He's clingy a little bit, but it's just like when he needs to be, and when he realizes that he needs to like just be there for him. I love Shinobu. So yeah, that'll be my manga one.
And I love
Sorry,
a character with glasses, and he wears glasses at the office, and like,
his scruffy is just as fine as his like nighttime gig. I like it.
yeah, yeah. I love when a character has glasses, and I love that it's always that like early 2000s rom-com thing where they're like, they take off the glasses and they're beautiful, and I'm like, put them glasses back on.
Put him
I
back on.
actually like the glasses. So
Yeah, just take your head out your face, keep the glasses on, and then change your fit. You'll look good.
yeah, you look good. Punch Drunk Love, same thing. They've got the glasses trope. You take those glasses off, he's beautiful. I'm like, I like him for who he is. Put his nerdy little glasses on. Let me see him.
I can't even. I made a video about Punch Drunk Love, and I was like, I didn't do it justice. So I have to redo that video. I love Punch Drunk Love. I've never seen a more bad bitch than Sunwoo. I've
Oh my
never.
God. Just knows exactly how to play a man like a fiddle.
I love him. And it's just the fact that it's like, he's not the trope of just like a bottom who you're gonna just like run over. No, he knows himself. He loves himself. The only person he cares about is his man. He's like, oh, you want me to change my fit? I will. You want me to change your fit? Who are you? Ew, no.
Yeah.
I love him down. He's so awesome. And
I
his
love
family.
him. And I love that all of the red flag stuff that happens in the story is him being like, I want to be ran over, and I'm going to make you think it was your idea. He's like, you think that he's a victim, but he's the manipulator, and he is getting everything he wants. I just absolutely adore that story. So glad that we read it. That was like our February manhwa of the month, and I was so stoked that we read that. But I would say, as far as my delusional boyfriend goes, my number one had been Apollo, and Marlene, I think, just like chucked Apollo off a cliff.
Ooh,
As far as manhwa goes, like I always lean towards like Jason and Aju. See, they're like standout manhwa boyfriends for me. But for manga, I don't know. Like when I read Birds of Shangri-La, I could not get over it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the art style. It just struck me in a way that I was not like ready for. And the whole plot of it, the fact that it's on this tropical island, like you said, the setting and the sense of place is so specific in that story. But then reading this story, and I'm not even usually a supernatural girly, but to have the extra element of like, not only do I accept you because you're a man, but I also accept you as like a complete outsider, kind of monster, kind of different species. Like all of that took it even a step further. And then the rooftop visuals, that like werewolf in London night feel, all of that sense of place really got me. I don't know, it just transported me into this other world. And Marlene, there's something about the way he also, because in Birds of Shangri-La, the whole point of that story is this prolonged delayed gratification where they're not allowed to have sex with each other. So maybe when I get to the point that Apollo is truly dicking down our man, maybe he'll be back up on top. But in Coyote, the fact that Marlene is there for a full week making Coyote's heat subside because he can go all night long, all week long, has nowhere to be, is not tiring out, loves the scratch marks on his back, and is like, I wish I had someone to show off these scratch marks too. I know you can't scar me all up, but I wish I had a few more. Every
Mm-hmm.
single thing about him is like, yeah, he's sitting on top of the throne. He absolutely is my new number one delusional boyfriend.
Ooh, that's so funny because I love Apollo. I think from like the mindset of like being a therapist, you always want to have someone who is genuinely like always present with you. And I love that Apollo is such a present person, even whenever he's like holding on to Fee and he like randomly shows up at night and he's just like, well, I'll just keep reading my book and not disturb him. I was like, oh my God, I love
Oh
Apollo.
my gosh, Apollo puts so much aside for his man when he sees him in like a gangbang situation and he
Oh, that tore him up and it tore me up. I was like about to cry with Apollo. I'm like,
but does he hold it against his man? No. Does he judge him
no.
for it? No. Is he worried about his safety? Yes, but he's not like interrupting him or imposing on him. He's like he does his best to let his person be independent of him, and that is so oh, that is such a green flag, truly, to just be like, whatever you do, I support you 100%, even if it doesn't always involve me. And even if it makes me jealous, I will watch from the sidelines and I will be ready for you when you come to me. And oh, Apollo is so good. I feel he's probably number two now, but like, yeah, Marlene. And I can't believe that, because he's like got dirty brown hair. And Marlene is like a straight up blonde, which I just usually don't believe in those. But
I don't believe in those.
but
You
like
don't make
this time he I don't know, he won me over. Him and Caesar, they both they're doing they're doing some heavy lifting getting me to understand a blonde as a hot real man. So those I think that's the new ranking for right now for manga. I don't know what our manga is. One second. I'm gonna check out what it is for next month. How My Daddies Became Mates. So
I ate that up. That's so good.
do you think How My Daddies Became Mates are manga of the month for, if this is May, that'll be June. Do you think that he'll beat Marlene for me? Do you think either of those characters will dethrone Marlene?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. If you're leaning more towards who the top is, I don't think so.
Okay.
They're very funny though, but I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. I am very excited for an Omegaverse story, but this, like I said, being this hybrid situation with the element of the heat and all of that, and the nodding still being there, I am ready for Coyote to be. This is one more prediction. I want them to have a switch night, a verse night, where Coyote gets to top Marlene, Josh, and
Yes.
not him. And Josh takes it like the real man that we know he is.
I like that prediction.
Do you think we could get
I
it?
I hope we do because there's not a lot of Switch stuff happening in BL, and there is one that everyone tells me to read. I think it's called Playtime Hokuto. I don't like the art style, so I didn't read it. And I was like, maybe one day I'll stop being petty. But they are the same size. They are literally the same height. They're kind of the same size. I think Lily might be a little bit smaller, but they're the same height. He mentioned that.
Yeah. Marlene is like, I love his physique. He's taller. He's over 6 foot. He's like, and he's very cut. But also, that knot has to come back into play. You don't
It
mention the
does.
knot one time and then never mention it again.
Yeah, because Zarya does things, so I feel like she might be onto something. I'll give her time, but like, hopefully, hey girl, if you're watching this, it's not in Japanese, but I'll try. Um, can you just do something?
Feed us. We're starving.
We are. That's a great idea. Cause I want it. I need it. Ooh, yeah. Now that's in the universe.
Yep. And yeah, girl, please, we beg of you. We love you. We'll make as many podcasts as you need us to make in order to get our switch moment. And not just a switch moment. I want that human knotted. I want him knotted and stuck for a good day. I want them stuck together for
Yes.
a day with that little blonde waitress bringing them in lunch and dinner while they're all together.
LOL. She was an icon too.
She was an icon. When she had to fall down and pretend to hurt her ankle, I was like, oh, and who among us hasn't played the feminine card? Like, oh no, I hurt
Oh,
myself.
what? No, I don't know why I ran that red light. Don't give me a ticket.
I love a good female side character in a BL. We read so much and we watch so much media. If you're raised in this day and age with a female character that's not done well, and I think a lot of the times we gravitate towards BL because we don't have to see a female character botched. And it's fun when in BL we get a side character that's a female who's written really well and who's fun. And I think we got that with Mimi. And I think that hopefully we get more of Mimi. Maybe Mimi and the waitress. Mimi seems to be a little bit in love with Coyote, but maybe Mimi and the blonde waitress have their own hybrid relationship.
Ooh. Well, they need to meet. Like, how would they meet? They would probably meet during the battle.
During the battle, yeah, or trying to sneak the boys out or like help them meet in private together somehow. But
Ooh.
I would love to see Mimi in more after she recovers because she's left on a cliffhanger. She's like going into surgery at the end of volume 4. So
Mhm.
I'd love to see more happen with that. And I guess you'll have to come back on the show in 17 years when we get volume 5.
LOL. I'll
Thank
be back and we'll just straight all of the 5. We're going page by page why this happened, and it better have a good ending if that's the ending.
Our like grandchildren will be running around the camera while we try to film.
Be like, Jacob, sit down. Anyway, so he was knotted.
So we did get pregnant.
Yeah. So whenever a person knots,
Kids, cover your ears.
cover your ears. We're talking about grown folks' business. So the semen.
Soaky fountains all over the room, soaking wet.
Oh, a fountain scene would eat. Oh my gosh, a fountain scene would eat.
Didn't you think we were about to get a fountain scene? There's one scene where he like puts a condom on him and he's like, I'll stop when you fill this thing all the way up. And
Oh,
and he says the famous lines. He's like, something doesn't feel right. I don't feel
yeah.
it. It was like, do it, fountain. And there was no fountain. So again, another prediction, another prayer to the Yowie gods, please. In the next one, give us the fountain, give us a knot, give us a switch. That's all. And honestly, if you give us all that, then I don't need the Omega verse babies. You can keep your M-Preg if you give me all the others I ask for.
They will draw a dry orgasm before they do a fountain. And I want them to realize that
No one's
just do
asking
a
for that.
fountain.
No one is
Yeah.
asking for that. We are asking in no uncertain terms for the fountains. I would take one every volume. I would take one every chapter.
I don't even think in Define the Relationship, he had a dry one.
Is that when it's
Carlo had a dry one. Yeah. He had a dry one when he tied it up. I was like, it would eat if he had a fountain.
Oh, it sure would. Oof, those two are that story is so good. In my top 5, Define the Relationship is everything. But with those alphas, we're not getting any slick spills, and apparently we're not getting any fountains, but I would die for it. I would also love to have you on for any other episodes in the future, Britney. Thank you so much for being here. This is so much more fun than yapping to myself for an hour.
Literally same. Yapping to my camera for like a good an hour and then sitting on my bed and reading something else.
Oh my God. And you can get through so much, but until you can sit down and spill the tea with a girl about it, it doesn't really truly feel like you've digested the story. And now I feel like I have Coyote fully metabolizing in my system. now I'm gonna have to go on and make 400 videos for my TikTok about how everybody should go read this.
And I have to figure out how I can get all of these copies in my house by tomorrow.
Yes, we're going to expedite airmail, express shipping, please. So speaking of TikToks, content, where can everybody find you on all of your socials?
You can find me as my name is everywhere is Buff Fujoshi, but you can also just look up NGW3S3 on TikTok and Instagram. And maybe I might be going back to YouTube, but we'll see how the time persists. I am an intern, so we'll see.
Everybody go comment on her stuff that she should go back to YouTube.
LOL. I'm trying to do more stuff. We do have a BL Discord. I haven't been that active on it. We just hit over 900 members, which is crazy. I put it on TikTok before we thought TikTok was being banned, and then everybody like jumped to it. So I'm trying to do more BL stuff on there, and hopefully in the future we'll have like a little subscription Patreon thing happening, and it is going to be like held on Discord a little bit. But yeah.
Amazing. As soon as you open that Patreon, I'm going to be your first member. And you're
Yeah.
actually 101 on that Discord because I did not know that was happening.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. I hope you really enjoy these episodes with a guest host because it makes this even more fun for me. Doing this podcast is a dream. I love long form content. I love listening to a podcast in the car and having it feel like you're on FaceTime with your bestie. And I feel like doing this with a guest host also gives me that feeling like we just had a full FaceTime breakdown about our favorite fiction. So please rate, review, subscribe on your podcast app, on YouTube, anywhere you find us. You can definitely find us on socials, Delusional Boyfriend Book Club or Delusional BF Book Club on all of the socials. It really does help grow the community so all of the Fujoshis can find each other and yap about these stories together.